Joining me now is Patrick Wood. Look at this headline right here, folks. The Trilateral Commission has erased its blackmailer-in-chief, Jeffrey Epstein. Talk about that. And then the new American Party being started by Elon Musk. He's bringing somebody in? Who is he bringing in? What does it say? Let's go to Patrick Wood of technocracy.news, technocracy.news.
Wow.
Hello, Patrick. How are you today?
Hello. Just really good.
All right. Let's go.
If it weren't that the Lord gives us strength and joy, we would not even be here at all.
That's true.
I'm sure.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Trilateral Commission has erased its blackmailer-in-chief, Jeffrey Epstein. Why did you choose that headline?
Well, here's the deal. Jeffrey Epstein was a member of the Trilateral Commission. Period. End of subject. This was not widely reported anywhere.
I've never heard of it till now.
But I had the list, the membership list, and he was a member of the Trilateral Commission.
And explain to those who maybe don't know what that is. That's not some, people say about back in 2017, this neo-Calvinist woman was on social media saying, Brandon House, he's a conspiracy theorist. He talks about the Trilateral Commission. And I wasn't even talking about it very much back in 2017 or any time. I really wasn't. I was like, really? What shows? I mean, maybe Dennis Cuddy or a few other of them mentioned it, but I didn't really start talking about the Trilateral Commission that much until I started interviewing you, unless I was quoting the book by the former U.S. Senator from Arizona who ran for president, which was Barry Goldwater, who Reagan campaigned for. So if being crazy means you talk about the Trilateral Commission, then that means Barry Goldwater was crazy, which means then Ronald Reagan was crazy. But, what do these neo-Calvinists know? They're stupid people that, so funny, they run around talking about, they're concerned about the word of faith and Paula White. I don't care for Paula White's theology, but these neo-Calvinist guys out there running around talking about they're concerned about these false teachers and their false gospel. I'm like, dudes and dudettes, you freaks, you neo-Calvinist freaks, look in the mirror. You're going to burn in hell with the people you're going after because you as yourself believe in a false gospel and you're false teachers. But these are the freaks on social media back in 2017 saying, because they were trying to discredit me because I was exposing interfaith dialogue with James White and Yasser Qadi, and they all worship John MacArthur, think he walks on water. And so they thought, well, we'll discredit House by claiming he's a conspiracy theorist that talks about the Trilateral Commission. I'm like, it's not a conspiracy. It's a legitimate organization. So for those who maybe are new, tell us what the Trilateral Commission is first.
Number one, when it was started in 1973, its co-founders were David Rockefeller. That was the chair. He was the chairman of Chase Bank at that point. And Zbigniew Brzezinski, the well-known strategist and academic who came into the Carter administration as a national security advisor. And these were the people that founded modern globalization. That's my strong opinion. I have one book on it and another coming soon. And we wrote, myself and Anthony Sutton wrote the definitive works back in 1978 through 1981 about the Trilateral Commission. These books still stand as a definitive expose, if you will, of the Trilateral Commission. However, these people are so mean-spirited. You cannot believe the junk that we've put up with these people. Number one, they destroyed Anthony Sutton's career at Stanford University. He worked as a research fellow for this Hoover Institution. He was a world-class researcher, had many books to his credit at that point. But when he started to investigate the Trilateral Commission, he didn't understand that the president of Stanford University at the time, well, he knew who this guy was, David Packard. He was a founding member of the Trilateral Commission. Well, they just froze Sutton out. They basically just destroyed his career at that point.
Well, if it's such a shadowy group, why do they hold their conferences and then put their name of their group right on the back wall. The Trilateral Commission. Here, I mean, this is an article where I guess they had an event in Brussels in 2024. I don't know if they've had one in 2025 yet, but you go online, you can find all kinds of meetings where they got their name all over. So if it's some kind of shadowy conspiracy made-up group, like the freaks in the neo-Calvinist world are out there on social media saying, which again, if they want to worry, they ought to worry about the false god they worship, because the God of John Calvin is a false god. He doesn't exist, by the way. So you're believing in a false God and a false Jesus for salvation. So talk about believing in false things, that would be you guys. But there it is. It's not a false group. They actually have their name on the wall. They're happy to promote themselves. They're a real group.
Absolutely so. And when 1980 rolled around, when Reagan was just elected, they put out a memo stating that our books, that was Trilateral's Over Washington, Volumes 1 and 2, our books were out of print and the publisher was out of business. And I was a publisher at the time, the August Corporation. And this was a bald-faced lie that they put out to all the B. Dalton booksellers, stores around the world. And our sales they literally collapsed overnight.
Really?
Because of this memo. And, so they basically just deep sixed us. Similarity is amazing. Well, they've been doing this type of censorship. This is not just normal censorship, you understand. This is destroying people's careers summarily. And they always have made their move in the shadows. They never get in the limelight where they can be blamed for anything. But we know for a fact, I was an eyewitness there. It was my company that got destroyed. That this was a bald-faced lie they produced on us by sending this memo out to everybody.
And the memo said that
that the books were out of print and the publisher was out of business. But we were not out of business, and the books were still in print. And we discovered then that the parent company who owned B. Dalton Booksellers at that point had a member of the Trilateral Commission on its board of directors. There you go. Just like what happened with Tony Sutton, with the president of Stanford being a member of the Trilateral Commission as well.
And if this group is so non-existent, why do they have a website, trilateral.org? So they are a real group. They have a website. There it is.
And you know what? Anybody can go and download the membership list from that website that you're showing right now. You're not going to be, well, they might know who you are, but nevertheless, the membership is always on that page right here. You see it right there. There you go. That's it. I have so many of these lists over the years. I made a practice to always keep the list updated. But there you go. This is not a private. Well, it's a private club, but they have things like this. You can discover who's on the board of directors and who the movers and shakers are. And I tell you what, you look at that list of people, it just completely, it'll floor you every time.
All right, so
fast
one
forward.
point you got the list, and like we're scrolling through right now, and at one point the list included Jeffrey Epstein as a member.
That's right. That's exactly right. He was a member in good standing. He attended the meetings, and my question has always been, what did he bring to the Trilateral Commission? Because the people that they always selected, they had a selection committee. You didn't apply to join. You had to be tapped to be inducted in membership. So somebody said, let's go and tap Jeffrey Epstein to be part of the club. Well, what did he bring to the club? You have media moguls, you have industrial giants, you have high-ranking politicians, you have legal firms, you have the bankers, central bankers, and mucky muck bankers like Larry Fink, et cetera. And so what did Jeffrey Epstein come to the table with? He was a transhumanist, for one thing, for sure. He spent lots of money for transhuman organizations. He was a technocrat. Certainly, he's been described that way by many people over the years. And, well, he was a blackmailer also. I mean, this could really be interesting for the Trilateral Commission. But otherwise, he didn't have any redeeming qualities that I could find that would recommend him for the Trilateral Commission. And of course, I'm speculating here that his purpose was not to deliver that kind of value, but rather the value of blackmail operations to compromise people who would not go along with the narrative.
Listen to what Mike Benz had to say about all this. Here we go. Listen to this.
Is this a case where DOJ overpromised, underdelivered? What happened?
What often happens in these cases, in fact, the JFK files have really interesting CIA memos on the kind of knife fight they have with the Justice Department when their own assets are being prosecuted. I think that Pam Bondi did not know what she was stepping into and had assumed it was like what most of MAGA world had said about the corruption of Bill Barr and the corruption of the Biden administration, and that they sort of jumped the horses out the gate, thinking that they would be able to conduct a normal investigation. And then
this was a little bit above a few people's
Birdie started talking in the ears of senior DOJ officials, I think of senior intelligence officials. The fact that there has been not even an attempt to try to answer about Epstein's intelligence links, after frankly damning statements by Alex Acosta and a complete non-investigation by the Bill Barr Justice Department on that. To me, it's a giant stinker, and the idea that this is just going to go away is just not going to happen.
And again, he brings up this guy Acosta, and I want to go to another tweet about that because I have, here we go, Roger Stone, who was on the show last night. He put out yesterday, when Alexander Acosta, the U.S. attorney for South Florida, who gave Epstein a pass on sex trafficking charges, was appointed Secretary of Labor, was asked what he would say about his handling of the Epstein case if asked about it in his U.S. Senate confirmation hearings. Acosta said, quote, "I'll tell you the truth. He worked for the CIA, and the case was sealed at their request," end quote.
There you go. There you go.
So why do you think, let's go back to your article. We played it, we've already played it yesterday, but we'll play it again.
Yes.
Why do you think President Trump said this? Watch. Oh, maybe it's not going to play. I'll have to refresh that. Let me do that. I don't know why it's not going to play, but we'll try if this works.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If I
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure, sure.
All right, so there you go. Do you want me to play the rest of that, or is that enough, Patrick?
Well, when Bondi then said that all of those videos that were recovered, they're all child porn, she said. And you're not going to see the light of day on that, and we're not going to release them to anybody. And I wouldn't understand if that's really the case. Actually, if it wasn't the case, they're not going to release him anyway, because you're not going to show all these people being in that kind of a position.
All right, hold right there. You hear the music. We'll be back with more, including the American Party by Elon. Tease the audience here. Who is he calling in to be a part of that?
Curtis Yarvin.
Oh, we've heard that name before. Curtis Yarvin. Don't go away. Patrick Wood of technocracy.news. Heard right here twice a week on Worldview 2. We'll be right back.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. Worldview Tube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the Worldview Tube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the Worldview Tube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the Worldview Tube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Is the government tracking you? Do they have access to all your data? Well, if you go to worldviewtalk.com, you'll find out about a cell phone company that, well, does not store your data. They don't do that. This is what they're known for. They don't store your data. You have privacy. You're not being tracked. That's why a lot of folks are turning to worldviewtalk.com. You'll find their prices are very competitive. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com. Again, worldviewtalk.com. Oh, while you're there, not only do they have cell phones that aren't tracking you, you can find out about how to get a satellite phone. Should the whole system go down and you want to communicate with a family member or a loved one, you might want to have a satellite phone. Or how about their solar generators? They have great solar generators. Check them all out right now. Worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com. All right, welcome back. Glad you guys are with us. Don't forget about us. Worldviewfoundation.com is another great way to support us as we continue to push out free Christian worldview programming. Because I don't think Fox News and other groups are going to do shows like we do. Do you? Worldviewfoundation.com. Don't forget our foundation also is our church. We have a Sunday night church service as I'm teaching through the book of Revelation right now. 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 Eastern, Sunday night. I'll be back this Sunday night as I continue teaching through Revelation chapter 17. All right. WorldviewTube.com to watch that, either live or on demand later. Again, thank you for your support. WorldviewFoundation.com. All right. Patrick Wood, technocracy.news. Let's go back to your article on, what's his face? Jeffrey Epstein. So tell me, what's his face? So tell me, why do you think President Trump came out and said what he did yesterday? Roger Stone was on my show last night. He said, I think President Trump also might be getting international pressure. Could it be from the royal family because of Prince Andrew?
Totally.
Other countries like the UK, Saudi Arabia. I don't know what other countries might be involved. What other countries might be involved that he's not going to be able to cut deals with them if he then turns out and releases all these videos and names of all of these people? So is he getting international pressure? Is that why this is personal now to President Trump? Because he campaigned on all this. Why the switch now?
Well, you're exactly right. He can't possibly release all the information. But in the meantime, the American public, we're getting the picture here. They're talking. They're fabricating a lie that it won't quit now. And, this is incredulous that we have lost all trust in our government to be honest and transparent with us.
How much damage is this going to do to President Trump and the MAGA movement?
Probably nothing in the end, because the people who are controlling the narrative right now, and in particular the Trilateral Commission, this is the snake. This is the hydra-headed snake that's been controlling modern globalization for decades. these people are not going to go away. If you want to know where the people are controlling the narrative, look at the membership list. We can't do it right now, I understand. Anybody can get it downloaded, however, and look and see who's on this list. It'll shock you. So they're not going to let this information get out. And so Pam Bondi, for instance, is spinning the whole thing, saying, well, he didn't have any client list, number one, and all the videos were just child porn videos that he downloaded himself personally. Give me a break. This has been discussed in the media openly over the years when the whole case was unfolding, that every video that they produced or they captured on all their hidden cameras around all of his properties, they were all recorded and sent upline or off-site to be stored somewhere. There were thousands of videos. Yes, there was. There's thousands of hours of videos as well. Where are those videos? Well, apparently, maybe Pam Bondi has access to them, and she probably got a wind of who was on them, people that she would recognize, like Bill Clinton, for instance, maybe even President Trump, I don't know. But Bill Gates, there you go. He was a frequent flyer on the Lolita Express, as they called it, right? You can't make this up.
Listen to what Mike Benz said on another show. Here we go.
What you're dealing with here is an international intelligence web. Take his role in Iran-Contra. That was illicit arms trafficking and money laundering for a CIA activity that violated international law. In that one operation alone, you have the CIA in the U.S., you have Israeli intelligence, you have UK intelligence, and you have Saudi intelligence. That's 4 different countries' intelligence agencies running through this single person. So if the CIA wants to, or DOD or NSC wants to protect its relationship with those countries, it's probably got to get a consensus with those intelligence agencies as well.
Mike,
what you're dealing with.
Yep. So there's no way this can all come out, because it would show that the entire government of the United States is really based on blackmail, kneecapping people. This is how they flip most politicians. This is how they run the whole country. And I guess the CIA and these groups can do it. I mean, after they blew the head off John F. Kennedy in '63 in broad daylight, they've pretty much been running the country, haven't they? Remember
that George H.W. Bush, a member of the Trilateral Commission, he was a president for four years after he has a vice president for 8 years with Reagan. Remember, this was the guy that started the modern CIA that we have right now. In his earlier career. And by the way, head of the CIA.
What do we know about Ted Cruz and the Trilateral Commission? Do we know anything about Ted Cruz or his dad in the Trilateral?
He has not been a member, as far as I know. I've never seen his name on any membership list. Okay. And also his wife Heidi, she's not anything in it is all.
But she has helped to push the North American Union idea.
Oh, absolutely,
under George
absolutely so. Absolutely so.
The reason I mention is because here is Roger again. Ted Cruz's father, says Roger Stone, Rafael Cruz, was handing out pro-Castro leaflets in New Orleans along with CIA handler Lee Harvey Oswald. Doesn't mean he was involved in the murder of JFK. What it does mean is that Rafael Cruz was likely also working for the CIA. And the whole reason I'm bringing that up is I think there are so many members of Congress that are put there by the CIA. And some of this stuff I think is multi-generational. That's my opinion. What say you?
You're right. It has been. Yeah, I know.
All right, let's flip to another story. Let's go to, I think I have a tweet on this one. Yeah, here we go. Just in, Elon Musk consults Curtis Yarvin, a right-wing thinker, really, right-wing, and monarchist on forming a third U.S. political party. Now, this is a guy that wants to create a monarchy in America, do away with U.S. Congress as we know it, and the whole 9 yards. And he we've talked about him before, but he wants now to work with Elon Musk to start a new political party. What is all this about? Well, is this theater? Are President Trump and Elon really at odds with each other? Is all this fake? Is it all theater? Or is it real? And is Elon going to start a third party? And what's his objective in doing so?
this is the splitting now of the MAGA party, if you will. That's not a party, but you understand the populist movement in America. That movement was all together when Trump first got elected. Other than the fact that Elon Musk came on stage and had his black hat, had MAGA on it, and he said, "I'm not just MAGA, but I'm dark Gothic MAGA." So here's this concept now of the dark enlightenment that came from Curtis Yarvin in the first place. He was a tech bro from Silicon Valley. He's not a philosopher by any means, by any educational standards for sure, but people think his ideas are good. He kind of has a cult following at this point. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk especially. He's consulting with him right now to form this party. And this Curtis Yarvin has been the scourge of the populist movement. Everything he said is completely polar opposite to what the populist movement stood for in the first place. He wants to create a monarchy, make Trump perhaps the monarch. He wants to basically replace democracy and constitutional democracy with another system based on who knows what, but basically he wants to run the country like a startup from Silicon Valley, where there's a strong CEO who has vested powers to do whatever he wants to do to break things and, as they say, move fast and break things. And this is the guy now who's going to lead this new movement. Well, the populist movement, the MAGA movement, is going to be shattered in pieces when they realize the great betrayal that's taken place right before their eyes. There's going to be not necessarily a revolution, but there's going to be two factions now come out of that whole movement. Elon Musk has already been to Washington, D.C. He's infiltrated all these agencies with his top lieutenants to bring in AI, to continue the firing process, et cetera. He's already embedded in the Trump administration. He can't get loose from that. But now, you see, is there theater here? Well, at this point, he's going to draw some people away from the Trump movement, if you will, and setting up another party run by technocrats. What's the difference here? You have Trump on one hand has all the technocrats to date in his administration, and now there's another organization here who wants to have all the other technocrats in their camp. There's technocrats everywhere. At that point, it just doesn't matter, does it?
So where is the country going? Not Leo, Patrick, where is the country going? Are we going to end up with the North American Union? Is President Trump going to be the first president of the North American Union? Is he going to finish his 4 years? Is he going to lose at the midterms and be impeached? Is the MAGA movement going to turn against him at some point or not? Or is the deep state going to try to get rid of him and install J.D. Vance because of his strong ties to Peter Thiel and the yes. tech bros? I mean, there's so many things I'm just throwing out here, but these are all in my mind.
And they should be in the mind of every American at this point. The threat of having somebody like J.D. Vance to be president he's one heartbeat away from it at this point.
Right.
And probably he's going to be the heir apparent when Trump retires. J.D. Vance is a disciple of Peter Thiel. End of subject. He was funded by him all the way. That's the only person he ever worked for was Peter Thiel. And so J.D. Vance is in his camp, especially when you talk about Curtis Yarvin and his Dark Enlightenment movement. Yes, that's his whole thing. So you see, at this point, technocracy is going to win no matter who they promote and whatever they do at this point. They're going to have an alternative party, political party, to catch the outliers. The ones who still stick with Trump and the MAGA movement or whatever, they're already captured. So, this is a classical political move where you have both ends playing against each other, and the only people who are going to win are be the technocrats.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, when it comes to this story by Fox News, FBI launches criminal investigations of John Brennan, James Comey, DOJ sources. Any DOJ source leaking that, I would think, would lose their job, because I would think if that's really happening, there's a very, very, very small circle of people that are working on a high-profile case like that. So I think they'd be putting people under polygraph right now saying, are you the leaker? Because that's how these things work, from what I'm told by experts. That when you go after such high-profile cases, it's a small group of people, it's very, very hush-hush, and you're not out running around talking about it. I think this is fake news. It is a distraction over the Epstein thing, perhaps. We need another story. But I'm telling you right now, the chances of an indictment and criminal prosecution of John Brennan, former CIA director, or James Comey, the former FBI director, I think is very, very small. What say you?
Absolutely.
This is more red meat for the MAGA crowd to appease them because they were upset yesterday over the Epstein thing. True or false?
Exactly. And it's not going to come to anything.
No.
There's no way that they're going to be having arrest warrants for these people. Maybe they'll hass them a little bit. Maybe they'll put them in front of a committee or something in Congress.
That's not how this team plays. That's not how the club works. And these guys know too much.
Yes, exactly. So, it's much ado about nothing. And how many people have been arrested along the way that even Trump said we're going to be arrested, like Hillary Clinton. Nobody from the Clintons has been arrested. Nobody in the intelligence community has been arrested, and they're not going to be. This whole thing is a sham. The only person that's been arrested is Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's still in jail.
Now, I want President Trump to be successful, as I've said, because I agreed with a lot of the things he was running for. And if he's successful, America's successful, right? But I have to tell my audience to keep your expectations low as to what actually gets done. So let's say President Trump gets to the end of 4 years and we look back, how much will he have accomplished? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much will he have accomplished? 10 being the most obvious. On the MAGA, Make America Great movement, how much will he really have accomplished? Scale of 1 to 10.
Probably even a 4.
Wow. 40%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Technocracy, is that because the swamp's too big, or they threatened him, or he just realizes this is how Washington plays, there's nothing he can do, really?
We have the MAGA movement policies playing out, but aside of that, you have the technocrat policies on the other side.
Wow.
This is the movement that's going to kill us, not the closing the border and those sorts of things.
Technocracy.news. Thank you, Patrick. We'll be right back.
You bet.
I'll tell you one little quick story. We had a Worldview Weekend client who lived in California, lost their house. Very wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money and no house available. His bank was shut down because he couldn't have access to his bank account.
Was this during the fire? Was this during the fires?
During the fire. Didn't have his driver's license. He lost it. The state wouldn't give him a new license because he had no active mailing address. Real mess. So he came to Arizona to buy a house. He's moving everything over. He said, the only thing I got in my possession that I can get liquid with right now is my gold. I gave him a check for $286,000, and guess what? I didn't need his social, his driver's license. Sort of smiled, and I said, I know you and Brandon talked about how this worked, but boy, this is great. I feel good. I got my money. Nobody bothered me, and I'm protected, and it's private. So you people out there who are sitting on your hands when Wes and I are sending you these requests and Brandon and you are talking to you, you better get active because you're going to pay me $4,000 an ounce the end of the year. Trust me.
You better get your. I highly suggest you get your free packet. You don't have to do anything. It's free, no obligation. Just simply go to worldviewgold.com, fill out the form, worldviewgold.com, or just text Wes and give him your name and address and say, I want the free packet. That's all you got to do. 602-558-8585. 602-558-8585.
Introducing the Sentry Wellness System. the ultimate under-sink water treatment solution designed with you in mind. Say goodbye to harmful toxins and hello to water enriched with essential nutrients like calcium and magnesium. Enjoy the benefits of increased pH for on-demand alkalinity. All from a zero-waste system that fits seamlessly into your home. Installation is a breeze, taking just 15 minutes, so you can have clean, healthy, great-tasting water straight from your tap. Perfect for apartments, homes, rentals, and even RVs. Elevate your hydration and well-being with the Sentry Wellness System because you deserve the best in every drop.
Sentry H2O. Tap into wellness.